Welcome to the Path to Purpose interview show, where we share our unique and universal stories about finding and fulfilling our purpose. My name is Katja Rusanen, and I'm your host, transformational story coach, and mentor for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. My intention for this show is to inspire you on your path to purpose. And today, I have a pleasure to interview Jeremy Mason, who has worked as a freelance TV lighting cameraman and producer of top chart-topping concert films for more than 2 decades. He's also been a business owner for more than 18 years. He comes from a family where business is a way of life. And along with his passion for business, Jeremy also has a love for images. For a decade, he ran a high-end photography company, started as a side hustle and ending up as a six-figure business. And this mix of video and business is what drives Jeremy's mission to empower business owners who want to make a difference in the world, to learn how to use video in their businesses, and to help them flourish and grow by doing so, making the world a slightly better place, one business at a time. And today he'll share with us how to attract more clients with video. So let's get started here. So welcome, Jeremy. I'm so excited you are here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Real pleasure to be here.
And as I read your bio and shared about your background, it seems like you grew up with this family of entrepreneurs and business. And was there a special event, though, that led you into working with video and finding this passion?
Well, do you know what? It's very strange, and it's a great question. I remember I was very lucky as kids. We did a lot of traveling, and I remember being in China. Actually, we went on holiday to Hong Kong, and at that time it was in the early 1980s. China wasn't that open, so it's very difficult to get across. Anyway, so me, my brother, and my dad went for a 4-day kind of escorted tour to what's now Guangzhou. I've probably pronounced it wrong, so apologies for any Chinese people, but it was amazing. And anyway, I remember I was probably about 9 or something like that, and I remember I'd been given as a present for this amazing holiday for Hong Kong and then China, a little 110 camera, which was a very sort of oblong little thing, very sort of elemental kind of camera, not very complicated. And I just remember being absolutely mesmerized by looking at a scene. And I particularly remember this one moment where I was looking through my camera and I just noticed the way that the road and there was a river alongside it, and they both sort of converged, you know, in terms of with this perspective and stuff. And it's very strange that I remember that exact moment, but I remember taking the photograph. And obviously in those days it wasn't digital, it was film. So, you know,
you take a photo and you crossed your fingers.
Wait like a month or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Crossing your fingers. Anyway, I remember sort of later when we get the little prints back and we're kind of going through and looking at all the images and stuff. And I just remember getting that picture and going, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I envisaged this photograph ending up. Because up until that point, because it was a really basic camera, it wasn't a zoom lens, there was none of that. It was literally like, but that one picture, that one image, and I'd gone, oh my gosh, I just love the way there's such balance in the frame in real life. And I was just like, oh, that's magical to me. Yeah. And then to be able to capture that and it be replicated then later on for posterity when you get the photograph. And that was the thing that really inspired me to then go on and just, you know, just have this real love of images, and kind of went from there. Sort of landscapes. I always love landscape photography, although they've not really got the patience for doing that. And I really admire and respect, you know, photographers particularly who have that kind of, they don't mind waiting an hour for a particular cloud to go across and be in exactly the right place in frame. You know what I mean? So, but I love the notion of being able to capture moments in time, you know, and that's kind of what led us to doing the wedding photography. The fact that you have this amazing honor, actually, of being part of someone's incredible day and just being there and bearing witness to it, but being able to capture that. And then later on, obviously, then you show them the images when they've come back from the honeymoon or whatever a few weeks later, and just seeing the emotion. You can really, I mean, talk about, you know, storytelling. It really brings it all alive. And I still love photography. I mean, we no longer do the photography business because we had a lovely bundle of joy that came along that meant we wanted to reclaim our weekends, and so it wasn't really compatible with that business anymore. But no, I mean, I've loved, and it's carried me into TV, where I'm absolutely obsessive about, you know, creating the best possible frame I can, given what I've got in terms of equipment and how much time I've got, etc. And I love that challenge of, you know, every single day when you're working on a TV show is different. Every environment you're put into is different, and it's about, you know, really quickly understanding what you've got and how you can make it work for yourself, you know. And it's I love it. It's just a brilliant thing, and it all started from a canal and a road in China. Very strange.
I love the story. Thank you for sharing it with us, because those are the moments in life that really can help us to go to the journey, go to the path where we can use our gifts. Because obviously you have a good eye, because you saw it, you were able to capture that, and you were 9. So I was like, would I have thought that at 9-year-old? Like, so that is amazing. And now, as you help business owners, and some of them might have this challenge like, why should I bother creating my own video content? There is maybe so much out there already. So, and maybe I'm not camera savvy. So what would you say to somebody who's on the fence right now, whether they should create their own video content or not?
Firstly, absolutely, every business owner who wants to maintain their visibility online really needs to at least consider digital marketing as a thing, and B, absolutely, the form of video, the medium of video is it's a great connector. And there's nothing, and ultimately I believe, and I'm sure you do too, Katja, that in business it's all about building those connections, creating those relationships with people, because people buy from people at the end of the day. And so that's why I think the video is such an empowering thing to be able to use within your business. And I know, and I totally understand that people come to video with a lot of different sort of hang-ups or barriers to wanting to get involved. And I'd say, look, like anything else, it's a skill and it needs to be developed. So just be gentle on yourself, give yourself grace, and understand that it's a learning journey. I mean, you know, I've been at it for what, 25 years or whatever in terms of broadcast and all the rest of it, but every single day is a school day. Literally every single day. The day I stop learning is the day I give up. I honestly, but I don't think that's going to happen, because there's always something that I take away from every single day that I shoot. And I think that's the thing. And also what I would say as well is, don't allow the sort of technical aspects of video, although I'm by no means sort of diminishing the challenge that can present to people. I'd always say to them, look, we as people, as business owners, we've all got talents, we've all got expertise, we've got insights that we can offer the world, that other people, our audience, are crying out for, really, really want to know about. And almost if we allow our inner dialogue to be the barrier to letting all of that goodness come out and all of that potential to be shared and all that goodness to be shared amongst the world, I think, you know, we're being a little bit selfish, you could say. So, and you know, I'm not belittling at all the struggles that people have and the challenges people will face in terms of getting themselves in front of the camera. But in terms of that, what I would say is just practice, but do it quietly and on your own. there's no rule that says, you know, if you pick up your phone, for example, you know, we've all got cameras in our pockets, you know. So start practicing. Literally just talk to your, I know it's an odd thing to do, just start by talking, having a conversation with this strange inanimate object that's in my hands now. Just get yourself used to that. And I mean, don't need to do it in front of anyone, just do it quietly by yourself, just normalize that and visualize. Like whenever I'm talking to the camera, in my head, I'm visualizing, I'm just talking to a person. I'm just talking, I'm in a coffee shop having a chat with someone. And so I'm not visualizing, you know, me being stood on a stage talking to thousands of people, even though potentially thousands of people could be seeing the videos that we're creating. But don't let that get in your head. Just you're literally at that moment, the person who's watched, so someone who's watching this with us now, it's one person. So I'm just talking to that one person down the lens. So, you know, give yourself grace, but I would also say absolutely give it a go. And your first videos will be your worst videos, but that's all part of the learning journey. So just allow that to happen and give yourself the space and grace to improve. That's what I'd say. But definitely as business owners, it's something that's so important going forward in terms of business visibility. So, you know, that's what I would say.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because that's the work that I do, the limiting inner stories that we might have in our head, and what are the stories that we make being on the camera and sharing. But the good news is that you can overcome that, because let that why you want to do your work pull you forward. And just like Jeremy was giving ideas, like practice, do it for yourself. So baby steps first. And now let's just talk about like how can creating your own video content attract new clients into your business, because we want to motivate now people to, okay, let's get this practice going so that you can share video content. But what is the benefits to do it?
Well, I mean, like I mentioned before, video is such a great connector, and also, you know, since COVID, really, there's been a huge shift in the type of content that has been really resonating with people, and it's really marked. Actually, there's a lot of research that's been going on, as you can imagine. For example, the content, the video content that's really resonating right now is content that's is authentic. The buzzword at the moment is authenticity, humanity. Okay, it's really easy to, I mean, it's never been easier to jump to, you know, like I was saying, we've got phones with cameras, 4K cameras, so you can make amazing video very easily, and everyone's got the ability to do that owns a phone. But in terms of benefits of using video as a tool to communicate and as a tool to connect, it just means really fundamentally that you're connecting with other humans, with potential customers who you can help. And I believe that you know, as business owners, we're here to serve. It just allows you to build those connections, build those relationships in an actually much more profound way, and you can scale that process. I mean, obviously in the olden days it'll be a case of, you know, I might have had a you know, I might have owned a bricks and mortar actual physical shop. I would have been a shopkeeper. People would have come into my business. Over a period of time, I would have got to know them. They would have started to interact with me. And over time, you build up a critical thing, which is trust. And that is at the key of everything. There's three things actually, Katja, that you need when it comes to marketing yourself or selling yourself online, or your business, should I say. There are three things that you must sort of engender, which is know, like, and trust. People will not buy from you unless they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So the whole process is all about that. It's about, how do I, as a business owner, get in front of my people, the people that I can help, and how can I demonstrate my value to them? You know, and that can be with, you know, talking around the problems and solutions, you know, so that if they have this problem, I can help them with this. It might be, if you sell a product, that this product might help you, among other things. But video is brilliant in the sense that it allows you to do that. But rather than, you know, just producing reams and reams of words on a page that are very cold in some ways, you're connecting on a human level. Also, the other thing with video is it allows you to say an awful lot very quickly, and people are busy. So it allows them to dip into your world very quickly, and for them to establish in their heads pretty quickly, make a judgment call. Okay, I resonate with this person and I'd like to know more, and that's very hard to do off the back of an email or a piece of paper or an article in a paper or whatever. So that's why I think, video is so important, and business owners really should be looking to get on board with it as soon as they possibly can.
Beautiful. And yes, it gives like the feeling that I know you more. When I see you, I can get sense of your energy, maybe more than through written words. So I definitely look forward doing even more myself as well, doing more videos. And besides contacting you with, and getting support on this, which I of course recommend, how can business owners get started if they have never created a video before?
So really the first things now, hopefully business owners have already thought about who they serve as businesses, like I was saying before. So the first thing really is to really identify who you serve as a business, who your audience is, okay, who your market is fundamentally. And you need to also understand how your products or services and you as a business help them. So pay attention to what are the people who are coming into your business, what are the issues they've got, and what are the solutions that you offer. So think about that. And then extrapolate out from that. Well, where are these people online? So that might be in the real world, like I say, go back to the shopkeeper analogy. You'll have an innate sense of who people are and the problems they've got, because they'll probably talk to you about it and go, have you got something for this? Yes, I have. Brilliant. So you're trying to transfer that sort of dynamic into the online world. And so you need to start thinking about, okay, so I want to reach, so in my case, I want to reach purpose-driven business owners, okay? So I need to start thinking about, well, where might I find people like that? So then you start thinking, okay, and what you end up doing, and this is something I really recommend people do, business owners do, is invest time in creating what's called a customer avatar. Okay, and basically that's it's almost like a 3D character of a profile of someone that you serve as a business. Now, the thing to say is there may be one or two of these within your business that you might serve one or two different sets of people within your business, and that's fine. But the point is you need to be profiling those people and making them feel really real. So it's not just the age, the sex, where they were educated, that sort of thing. It's about the intrinsic motivate. What are their goals? What are the challenges they have in their lives? Because ultimately, it's about getting into their mindset, okay? Because if we get into their mindset, we can then go on Google as if we are them, and we can look at things and search things as if we're them, and then we get much more of an insight into how they may come across our content. Or if you've not created any content yet, what are the questions they are searching for that we can answer in the form of a video? Because that, if you are answering specific questions when you're creating a video, then Google will show you some love over a period of time. This isn't going to happen overnight, by the way, but this is a process. But if you're creating, answering questions that actual genuine people are typing in on Google, and it's literally as easy as going to Google ourselves in the mindset of our audience and going, what would they search? What would speak in the language that they would use? Don't use insider language or things like that. But so that is a very long way, Katja, of saying invest time in absolutely getting immersed in who your audience are and their pain points and how you as a business owner and a business can help them, and then see the world through their eyes. And more importantly, whenever you create any content, video, blogs, website, whatever it is, always pass it through the eyes of your audience and ask the question from your audience's perspective, what's in it for me? What am I getting out of it? Am I, as a business owner, giving genuine value to my audience? If the answer is yes, brilliant. Create that content. If the answer is nah, not so sure, don't post it, because there's too much noise already on the internet. It really genuinely is about really genuinely helping and expecting nothing back either is the other thing. To do this with love and with generosity, and just in the spirit of wanting to share and impart your knowledge, your insights, your skills. So that's what I would say. That's a great place to start. And then obviously the rest of it, that is the tip of the iceberg, as you can imagine.
For sure. And thank you for sharing that, because it's also like sometimes people get stuck, like, what do I create? So you gave there a tool, you gave two powerful questions to ask that will like help us to see it from different perspective, not just what we want to talk, but also like seeing it from the eyes of your ideal client and seeing if that is something they would search, they would find valuable, they would be interested in. So that was brilliant. So thank you for that. And now, as this is a learning curve, if somebody is starting, so what are the mistakes business owners should avoid when it comes to creating videos? Is there some particular mistakes that you see happening over and over and over again? And now maybe you can share them, and so that we can avoid them.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake, and again, it sort of follows on quite nicely from what we were just talking about. The biggest mistake is to make selfish content, and by that, it's a phrase that was coined by a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, who is an amazing businessman and also sort of entrepreneur character, and he does a lot of video content. And he says, I believe, he's quite brusque. He's from New York and stuff, so he says it how he says it how it is. So it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but he says selfish content basically. It's a sort of thing, and everyone's seen it, right? On LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. From a business, we've won this award. So what? From an audience's perspective, why is that important? I've won this award. You know, again, it's because people aren't seeing things through the eyes of their audience. So anytime, that's why it's such a valuable exercise to do, and that's why I'd urge anyone to do it and spend the time. I mean, you know, creating a customer avatar at the end of the day, you know, you'll take 2 or 3 hours to do each one. So it's quite a chunky piece of work, but it allows you to pass everything through that lens, which is so important, because people don't care who you are online. Generally, when they come across you, first off, all they care about is, can you help them with the problem they have now? They don't care that you've won an award or that you've been nominated for something or whatever. You know, maybe later on down the journey, that might be something that they take into consideration when they're thinking of working with you. But when they first come across you, they just want to know that you're trustworthy, that you understand and you empathize with the position they are in. So that's why you need to be really, you know, you really need to get into the mindset of your clients, of your potential clients and your audience, because you genuinely need to care. This isn't something you just do, you know, for sort of showbiz. This is, you genuinely need to want to help them, because that's what the other brilliant thing about video is. You can, now audiences are much more savvy, and they can sense when they're being taken for a ride, when the wool's being pulled over their eyes. If you're being a little bit too flash or a little bit too disingenuous, that will come across. People are very savvy nowadays. So, you know, and that goes back to that also touches on the fact that as business owners, we need to be showing up as ourselves and not be afraid to do that. Now, you know, that does take some work, and the kind of stuff that you do in terms of limiting beliefs and all the sort of internal dialogues that go on in your head, you know, sure, that will take some work to do, and you'll get to a place where you're happier, you know, in your own skin, so that you can be yourself on camera. But if the alternative to doing that is to be someone else, that is exhausting, because you have to be the other key to the video. Yeah, the other thing with video is it takes a long time, in the sense that this is a marathon, not a sprint. This is something that needs to be done consistently, you know. So if you're having to be a role all of those times for the foreseeable future, that is exhausting. And also, ultimately, the mask will fall at some point. The mask will slip, and people will see you for what you are. And, you know, so I think really it's just about being, like I say, come back to thing of being authentic, being yourself, being happy with that, and genuinely wanting to help your customers. That's the thing.
Beautiful. And now my question to you is, how can you help business owners with the video creation?
So yeah, I mean, as you say, I am all about helping however I can. You know, and obviously I have got an amazing 6-week course should people want to do that. But actually, you know what? Yes, brilliant. If you want to do that, I'd love to have you along. But actually, it's what I really want to do is I want to inspire and empower purpose-driven business owners who to find the courage from within themselves to get their stories out there and to get their businesses visible, because I am massively passionate about the fact that small businesses are the engines of our economies, right? And we're in a little bit of a sticky situation at the moment, particularly in the UK, but I think globally as well. And you know, there's a business inside everyone, and I'd love to help in however I can to give you a spark, give you that inspiration, to help you reach your audience in some way, you know, to feel empowered to do that. So yes, absolutely, I do a 6-week course which takes you from 0 to video hero in 6 weeks. That sounds a bit like sales pattern now, but it's all about creating, it allows business owners to create customer attracting videos in 6 weeks or less. That's what it does. It's a taught by me personally, live every week on Zoom. It's small groups as well, because it's all about implementation, isn't it? It's all about accountability and support, and that is a huge thing for me, because you know, it's all very well, we can all rush off and look at stuff on YouTube and the information's all out there, but it's about the accountability. It's about putting it into your own context and making it work for you, and that's what the course does. But over and above that, there's obviously my YouTube channel, but also I've created some cheat sheets for people who are kind of just starting out. There are 3 little kind of PDF cheat sheets that I've created. One, like, you know, like I was saying, let's all get on our phones. Let's start creating videos. Let's start getting practiced at it. What settings do I use? Well, one of the cheat sheets talks all about the settings that you need to have to make it look great. Actually, it's pretty easy, but it will hopefully take one of the little barriers. Oh, I don't know what settings to use. Hopefully it will sort that out. Secondly, there's also a video shoot checklist. So talks about things like lighting a little bit. I mean, this isn't about making a movie. This is about just making sure you're facing into the light, and you just are a little bit conscious of where you're shooting, also from a sound perspective as well. So there's that video shoot checklist which goes through so that you know, you're just made aware of the area in which you're shooting and how to maximize that, so that you're creating the best video you possibly can. And then the thing that a lot of people forget is they create the video, they might upload it to YouTube, or they might pop it on Facebook or whatever, and then they just sit there and wait. Now that, my friends, is a mistake, because you need to tell people that you've created this brilliant digital asset, the video, that you've, you know, spent probably quite a lot of time, you know, especially when you're starting out. It takes a while to make these things, you know, and you're ultimately hopefully imparting some really good, valuable information that will really genuinely help people. So you want to get people aware of the fact that you've done that. So the third cheat sheet is a video launch blueprint, which takes you through the steps you need to go through to make sure that everyone that you know is aware that you've done that. So that then, you know, particularly if you're on YouTube, for example, the first 24 hours of a video, once you've uploaded it, you need to tell as many people as possible about that video. And then YouTube notices that, and it gives you a bit of YouTubery love, which is lovely, and it will hopefully over a period of time boost your video. So yeah, so it doesn't stop when you've made your video. You've got to show that video some love, and you've got to get it out there into the world and tell people you've made it. So yeah, there is probably in a link somewhere, I imagine there'll be a link, and you can download
in the comments.
in the comments below.
Click in there. And that is an amazing gift, and I highly recommend everyone. I will get that too. Like, that is such a powerful gift. Like, have that list to check out things, and so that you can share your message with more clarity, with more ease, and that way attract those clients that you can serve. So thank you for that. And now, as we are wrapping up here, do you have a special message that you would like to share to finish this interview?
I think there's a couple of things I would say, which I've said before, but I just want to end on them, is just give it a go and just push yourself out of your comfort zone just a little bit. Just pick that phone up, just start talking to it, and really then get into the mindset of your audience and start thinking about how you can get the value that's within you out there and shared. That's what I say. But please just start. It always starts in baby steps first, and don't get overwhelmed. And you know, there is lots of support out there, and I will do whatever I can. So if you need some help, advice, whatever, just reach out to me and I'll do whatever I can to help you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for your time today and the inspiration and all the work that you do in the world. And thank you for watching the Path to Purpose interview show. If you like this interview, hit the thumbs up button. I'm sending you loads of light and love, and stay well and stay tuned for the next episode by subscribing to this channel. And you can also check the previous interviews. Bye for now.
Take care, people.